Okay, good morning, my friends. The topic today is about tips to cultivate positive thinking during difficult times. And difficult times is not necessarily during MCO. Anytime that we find it difficult, it is difficult. Okay, so basically, what happened is that we are here and we face a lot of challenges in terms of finance, in terms of stress due to workload. And some people are stressful because they don't have job. And some people are stressful because they got so much things to do. And some people, they do not know what's going on, and they got panic and all that. So this is going to address all that and what are the things we can do to ourselves to make some changes. Okay, guys, let me go into the second. First, before we look into the positive thinking, we need to understand something very important about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence sets apart the good leaders. Okay, for example, you see the capacity for recognizing our own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves and for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. So, guys, most important word here is what? Recognizing our own feelings. That is what we call step number one in positive thinking. If I go and ask somebody, what is your feeling about your work? Doctor, I don't have a feelings. What feelings do you have with your boss? Doctor, I don't have a feelings. What feelings do you have for your family? All okay. So if such a person like that, it means they're not emotionally intelligent because they do not know what feelings they have. My dear friends, don't misunderstand. Emotional intelligence is not like being unemotional. That is wrong. Many people are thinking emotional intelligence means you become very unemotional. We cannot be like that. Okay, for instance, mother is cooking in the kitchen. A baby, a 2 months old baby is crying at the hall. The mother said, oh, I'm emotionally intelligent, so I continue cooking. I'm not emotional. I will never go and help my young baby. Is it correct or wrong? Of course wrong. Because that's a wrong concept. Emotional intelligence, my friends, is not about a situation where you don't have emotions. Emotional intelligence is where you are aware of it. So it's very highly correlated with positive thinking. Positive thinking also similar. What is negative? What is positive? Are you aware of it? If you're aware of it, that is called positive. If you're not aware of it, it's negative. For instance, guys, the suicide cases are happening. We all hear that, reading in the newspapers. Why? They are not aware that the feelings are always not true. They're not aware. Because they're not aware of the feelings not true, they commit suicide. There are some cases, many cases happen at home, abuse cases. Abuse cases like, for example, the father is abusing the wife or the mother abusing the children. Frankly speaking, they are very innocent. The only concern is they are not aware of their emotions. That's where we talk about emotional intelligence. Now, let's look at the next one. IQ is about qualification. It's about PhD, about master's program, about certification program. Psychologists, the scientists and the psychologists and researchers have mentioned this many times. IQ, the qualification, is a weak predictor of achievements, job performance success, overall success, wealth, and happiness. IQ accounts for a major component of employment success according to a number of studies covering career success. Unfortunately, what happens is that people are hired based on qualifications in many companies. not very much based on IQ versus EQ. As a psychologist, my friends, I do conduct training in companies. For example, teach them how to conduct interview, psychology interview to determine their EQ level and their behavior components and attitude with the qualification. After that, we provide the weightage and we will decide whether this particular individual matches the work or not. Okay, so we do that actually. I give you an example. If let's say a person is introvert, very quiet, okay, very quiet, and he likes to be alone most of the time. In a workplace, he's also like, he comes to work quietly and then he does the job, shows some smiling face here and there, and then he leaves. In the meeting, he's very quiet. So his nature is introvert. It is good. It's not bad at all. However, when come for an interview, you hire him for marketing job. What will happen to him? Then later on, we accuse him for being underperformer because his nature doesn't match the job. He may have a master's in marketing. He may have degree in marketing, but his nature doesn't match the job. Due to that, the performance will be affected. He will be struggling to meet the customers, be struggling to meet the strangers, and for him, it's a burden. What about the other one? The extrovert who loves talk and talk and talk like me, they will be doing very well in marketing, whether they have high qualification or not. So you got the point now, my friend. So where does these negative thoughts will come? Who will have the negative thoughts? The one who is introvert doing marketing or the one extrovert doing marketing? I think you know the answer. The one is doing introvert doing marketing, they will have a lot of challenges in their mind. Every day wake up, they think, I have to go to work. I have to go and meet the customers. I need to stranger. I have to go and present to my boss the numbers of people that I meet. And that causes negative thoughts. This is the root cause, my friends. It causes negative thoughts because their profile does not match the job. You may want to ask me one important question. Dr. Ari, can the person change his profile? Introvert become extrovert and extrovert become introvert? Good news is yes. When there is a good leader, a good person on the top, at the same time attending a good training programs, they can be switching. And God is all merciful. Is provided the privilege for us to become introvert or extrovert. By nature, many people are introvert. I know very successful in marketing because they switch to extrovert personality. And how come they can switch? Very simple reason, my friend. You know why they can switch? Because their motivation for the family, for the income is so high to the extent they're willing to change their profile. So they have something to grip on and they will change. That's what it means, guys. And now let's look at why should you know about emotional intelligence? 70% of the reasons for losing work-related relationship are emotional intelligence. Poor temperament, poorly handled feedback, unpleasant interactions with people, with colleagues, with customers, with suppliers, didn't go extra mile to help others, no follow-up, lack of human communication overall. And this causes what? Who suffers? You all be mistaken, my friends. We all assuming company will suffer. Actually, not so much. Company will keep on moving. The person who has less EI will suffer. How to be happy when your colleagues are not close with you? How to be happy when your family members are accepting you as a father, as a mother, that's all. Nothing much, nothing less. You come home, now nobody sit with you, beside you and talk and friendly chat and all that. Nobody jokes with you. Who suffers? Basically, we suffer. And those who have poor EI. Okay, now look at can you hear me now? 75% of the reasons career get derailed are EI related. Unsatisfactory team leadership during challenging times, inability to handle interpersonal issues, inability to adapt to change, inability to elicit trust. People are unable to trust you. So these are the important factors. And all these factors will lead you to have a negative thoughts. And unfortunately, the individual will be succumb to a vicious circle of going to downwards, spiral downwards. And they need help. They need help. More potent predictors of career success. Do you know any highly intelligent people who unsocially adapt? Ability to handle frustrations, manage own emotions, manage own social skills. Others, what are they? Okay, frankly, I want to give give me about 1 or 2 minutes to explain to you about this. You see here the word amygdala. Amygdala is the center for our emotions. What happens is that when you see or witness something, our senses witness something, this is the emotional center will trigger to action directly. Do you know why some people are very aggressive? For example, if they see in a restaurant something very dirty, they will become very angry and they will call the waiter and straight away scold because they use what we call bypass faculty. Bypass faculty means, you know what, the emotions straight away go into action. It never go into another area we call hippocampus, which is a reasoning faculty. So they bypass straight away, they go emotional. But after that emotional outpour, they leave the restaurant, they feel uncomfortable as well. They are not their behavior. So BCCK is a service-oriented business. I notice you see a lot of customers coming for dining, coming for conferences, and so forth. Basically, you must understand the keyword is what? Amygdala. That's the nature. Amygdala is installed in us for us to run away from danger. But what we do, or response from danger, life-threatening situation, we bypass the critical faculty called intelligence and we act. Unfortunately, we are not using it to face the danger. We misuse it for little things in our life. That's what it means. Emotional memory, unconscious opinions are called as emotional memories. My friends, this is a very important slide or statement or word. Do you know, my friends, when the snake see a mongoose, what happens? Automatically, they know their enemies, right? And they will fight. It's not possible for them to, not to fight. They will fight. Why? This is called emotional memories genetically passed down. So that's why we always say a lion cannot be a cat cannot be a monkey cannot be a tiger, because we have these emotional memories all inbuilt in us. In Sarawak, in Sabah, there's so many warriors, so many respectful warriors. So they carry these emotional memories, and warriors blood with so much of love and piousness. So that is the strength of Sarawakians, guys. So that is the emotional memories that is taught in us. That's why you notice that some people are more aggressive on the small matter compared to the other one, because of the emotional memories. Hippocampus recognizes the differing significance of, say, a snake in the zoo versus one in your bathroom. Snake in a zoo is protected, it would not reach you. The high intelligence tell you don't fear it. But snake in a bathroom, you straight away run away. So there is a differences. We need intelligence. How we respond. Unfortunately, some of the people do not know how to use the intelligence to and stop the bypass of the emotion to the
Akan. Kena nak besar.
okay, and then amygdala, as I mentioned to you, emotional intelligence and positive thought. That there shall be no emotions without thoughts. Is there emotions without thoughts? No, not possible. Positive or negative thoughts decides our emotional intelligence. Research confirms higher emotional intelligent individuals has 80% and more of positive thoughts daily. Please take note of this particular statement. Research confirms high emotional intelligent individuals has 80% and more of positive thoughts daily compared to the one who has less emotional intelligence, irrespective of what is their qualification level. Do you experience stress at work? Individual with negative thoughts repeat the same mistakes all the time. Low energy and commitments in whatever they do. Feeling of numbness in the mind because they feel like no feelings at all. If I don't go to work, I don't have a feelings. If I don't do my job at work, I don't have feelings. My boss told me I don't have feelings. That's what we call numbness. Next one, waiting to get caught. Always try to make mistakes, and if nobody catch me or catch us, I'm free. I will continue doing the mistake. So they always want to wait to be caught. Escaping from the mistake is a daily routine. They are not working. They basically want to escape from mistakes. In a conflict between good and bad, they always have a fight between good and bad, and always for negative thoughts, bad will win. Poor self-respect, they don't respect themselves, and others also would not respect them. Wrong identity of the self. This is very important, my friends. They assume since childhood, they are not in the right directions. They have a lot of discipline problems in schools and all that, and they bring these discipline problems to the work and forever. So that's why they identify themselves as not a good soul. They believe themselves as naughty. They believe themselves as lazy. They believe themselves as useless. And when they believe themselves like that, they will behave like that to others. That is what it means. Wrong identity of the self. Somebody have to wake them up. Psychologists, we work very hard to do that. That's why we have a system of counseling to help those people who really do not understand themselves very well to get out from this trap. They are innocent, my friends. I want to tell you, they're very innocent because they already programmed wrongly. We don't blame them for that. They program wrongly, and they need people, psychologists or social workers to get them out of it. And we do that actually. I do that for past 15 years. Some of them who come to me, we provide the free services, we help them. Big company to justify the mistake. Sometimes they are a gang, they have a group of friends who group together and they have the same values, which is not right. Always assuming as positive intention for the mistakes. Whatever mistake they do, they feel like the intention is good. For example, they come to work late every time, and then they say, because I have to send my children to school, so they justify it. But they never want to wake up early, and they will compromise on the company's protocols and rules. Lost trust from everyone. Nobody trusts them. Everybody will be smiling and joking and all that, but nobody will ask favor or give them responsibility. End of the day, what happened in a job, they are stagnant. The salary will be stagnant, the position will be stagnant because they do not portray a good quality. Bad image, bad branding. Unable to grow up the ladder in the job, hate responsibilities. They don't know why, but they hate it. asked to do some little things, they show a very unpleasant face to the bosses, to the colleagues, and they will do it to the extent the management will give up on them. Work out of fear, they always fear somebody will catch them, somebody will catch them. Individuals with positive thoughts. Now we go for the good ones. Blame themselves often. They take charge of themselves. When anything happens, they are very proactive, trustworthy, work out of passion. They always work out of passion, able to motivate others, gain high self-respect, respected even though qualifications are not high. Everybody likes them so much. Good influencer, provides shade for disturb. If some people are having a disturbed mind, emotionally disturbed, they look for this sort of positive thinking people and they will share their opinions. And these people are attracting many people who are disturbed and they will allow them to pour their hearts. Wonderful, great souls. I know many of you here listening to this talk belong to this category. Good advisors, good coach. People depend on them to solve problems. Practice selfless attitude so much. Calm during difficult situations. They don't react by volcanic approach. Solution-oriented personality. They are away from bosses rather during work. What it means? Bosses trust them. That's what it means. They're not in the boss's radar. When boss give them some work, the boss will go back home and sleep peacefully because these guys will do the job. And needy individuals shall always seek them. So these are the so much of benefit. And what is the difference between negative and positive? All in our mind, all within our control. You want to be positive today, you are positive. You don't need to go for a big transformation program or big solution or go for the psychologist, therapist, and so forth. No. If you decide you are positive today, you are positive. If you decide you're negative, you are negative. Operator, okay, this one, we just keep that. Okay, guys, if you look at the emotional bank account, circle of influence, proactive focus, positive energies, those people who have positive energies, positive thoughts, their circle of influence getting wider and wider. On the other hand, those who are reactive, negative forces, their circle of influence is very small. Even to the extent, some of them, their circle of influence is so small, even in their own family. Wow, who decided? It's not the family decide, it's not the company decide, it's that individual. Okay. So emotional bank account is related to positive and negative thoughts. An emotional bank account is a metaphor, is a symbol for a relationship with another person. Every time you do a favor for that person, it is making a deposit in a bank account. This is advocated by Stephen Covey in 7 Habits of Effective People. Every time you ask for a favor, it's like making a withdrawal. There are some people do not give, they only ask. So their emotional bank account go bankrupt. Like any financial investment, you can overdraw your account. You must make continuous and regular deposit if you plan on making any. My friends, there is a noise. Mute it, please. Mute it. I noticed there's a person, Huawei Nova. Please don't unmute it. Okay, so come back to here. You must make continuous and regular deposit if you plan to on making any withdrawals. 6 ways to make deposits. Understanding the individual, understand and do not judge. Attend to the little things. Show simple kindness. Have you taken your lunch? Have you taken your breakfast? How are you going on? Give a pat on the shoulder. Be positive. Just simple things. Keep commitments. Keep the promises. Never break it. This is a deposit. clarify expectations. Differences in expectation is a major cause of conflict. Sometimes we ask the workers or we ask somebody to, hey, please go and do your work properly. Then they will do something else, then you come and unrestful with them. We become unsatisfied because our instruction is what? Do the work properly, but we never break down the structure, what is expected. So end of the day, we sometimes blame the people who receive the instruction from us. So we have to make deposit by clarifying our expectations very clearly. Show personal integrity, loyal in front and also back. Never badmouth anyone. People can understand unconsciously if you are bad mouthing and in front you're speaking truth. I think I can understand this, I think many individuals, they can confront an enemy, but they hate people who talk in front and talk behind badly. It's worse than an enemy. So if that is the what you believe in, we have to stop. That's how we can make the deposits. Apologize sincerely when a withdrawal is made. Doesn't matter what position we are, what qualification we are, we always have to ask for apologies. Examples of withdrawals: asking for favors without returning them, complaining and pessimistic tone of voice, always harsh and hard. For example, you tell them somebody to do a job. Can you get for me the file? Can you please get for me the file? Instead of telling that, hey, please get me the file. See, get for me the file. The word is the same. Another one, get for me the file. So you see the voice changes, change the content, change the context of the instruction. Pointing out personal shortcomings rather than focusing on the job. Unfriendly sarcasm and snipes. Highlighting others' errors and mistakes in front of every other people. Expectations that are not communicated properly. Negative attitudes in general, because really who wants to be around that voluntarily? Broken promises, disregard for personal values and interests, lack of integrity. They say something but they do something else. So we need empathy. Okay, guys. Before I'm going to cover very important messages here under the coffee break. This is not a coffee break for you to get things. I will check your chat box. If any questions, you can put your questions now. I can answer. Then we continue with that. Any questions? Or you want to unmute and you ask me also can? Come on. Don't be afraid. Don't shy. Nearly all the questions can be answered. Very good. Wayne, I understand your chat question. Self-blame. How can it be positive? My friends, in the field of psychology, when I do the counseling, for example, sometimes people come and tell me, Dr. Ari, I just come 5 minutes late and I get scolded. My boss is very rude. And they listen to the rudeness of the boss, but they never forget that they are 5 minutes late. Another aspect of a very powerful leaders, my friends, if let's say whatever is being rewarded, whatever is being awarded, whatever salary that you get in your workplace, we always intend to say not enough. Or we always intend to blame something else. Company, a boss, or someone else. All the time our mind always go outside. If let's say if somebody is unfriendly with us, we always say that person is unfriendly. When we use that word unfriendly, you know what happens? We stop taking action. We never understand, we never analyze, is there anything that is I'm unfriendly, that's why they are responding unfriendly. One thing. Second thing, if that person is really unfriendly, how can I make him friendly? What do I have to do to make him friendly? That is positive action. The reactive action means what, he's unfriendly, he's not my friend. That person is stupid, he's not my friend. That person is lazy, he's not my friend. Then you run away from everybody, so end of the day, you become lonely, you will never learn the lesson. Like we psychologists or the social workers, we deal with, what, my friends? Suicide cases, as I mentioned, depressive individuals, anxiety, fear of even driving car. If let's say we blame them, they are wrong, they are wrong, they are wrong, can I help them? No. You know why? There is very important information I want to share with you today. Now, please pay attention. Do you know there are many things we like in our life and we do not know why we like it? I'll give you an example. I like blue. I like color blue. And I can explain to you for 2 days why I like blue. But frankly speaking, my friends, I also don't know why. That's the real answer. Some people like non-spicy food. You ask them why non-spicy food? Yeah, spicy and so hot, like sweating. Then you go and ask the spicy fella, why you like spicy food? Oh, it tastes good. But actually, we are programmed. We are just justifying. So in a workplace, you know what happens, guys? Let's say I like blue. I don't know why I like blue. The other person like white. And he also don't know why he likes white. Can I punish him? Because he doesn't like blue? Can I? I myself don't know why I like the blue. How can I ask somebody to follow the blue? Because he also doesn't know why he likes white. So in this perspective, the many conflict in a workplace happens because of reactive attitude. Another example I want to give it to you. Another good example I want to give it to you. You see, the husband and wife got married. The husband is a pet of his mother. Mother cooked for him a very good, delicious food all the time. After got married, the wife is a person who is more on nurturing the children and kids, and she don't give priority for delicious food. She cook, but not so much as delicious as his mother. So what will happen? Conflict. Why you're not cooking properly? Why you're not cooking? Every day commenting to the wife. And you know why? I will try, I will try, I will try. But innocently, she doesn't know because she doesn't like cooking. And she don't know why she don't like cooking. But here, this guy will be punishing them. And some cases even end up in divorce. It multiplies. So what happened? If I am husband and wife don't like cooking and she doesn't know why she don't like cooking, what do I have to do? Start cooking lah. That's what we call proactive. Or be patient. I understand her. Not everybody like to go for mountain climbing. Not everybody like to play football. Not everybody like to watch a marathon. Each one of them have their own likings, and why they like it, they do not understand. So rather than going reactive and blaming them and accusing them and punishing them for what they don't like, the nearest to me is myself. I accept them. I don't tolerate them. I change. That is what we call proactive, and that is what we call I blame myself for me to improve my emotions. If I'm getting angry with somebody, we always say what? Well, that person make me angry. And that is reactive. Guys, you understand? What happens? Is that always you get angry and then you throw tantrum to others? And is that your pattern? That means you are reactive. So what do? I hold my emotions. I am aware of my emotions. I will not throw my anger to the other person. Let him throw his anger to me, but I'm in composed situation. So I self-blame myself, and I'm very critical about myself, and I would like to control myself. That's answer I like to give it to you. Doctor, if unfairness happens, how to be positive? Okay, unfairness according to who? There's something that is unfairness for us, another person find it fair. It's all a mind game actually. So it's a very difficult, complex question to answer. But let me tell you, there's nobody is unfair in this world. If a person who's been slacking in discipline all the time, or showing some sort of discipline issues in the work, and suddenly come to the appraiser, he didn't get good, then he will blame the boss. Boss is unfair. So I need to get more information about this unfairness. Or could be because profile mismatch. Your profile is mismatching with the boss. For instance, I give you an example. Boss may be a detailed character. Boss may be independent character. Boss may be having a procedure profile. Boss may be a introvert. If his profile is like that, your profile is extrovert, your profile is optional, and you're changing all his profile. Even though you do a job properly, the chemistry doesn't fit. That's why, my friends, I request companies to engage me for training to remove these conflicts. It's not he is unfair or you are unfair. It's about psychology. We can solve the problem by understanding individual's profile. That's a good question. Okay, guys, so let's move on to this particular thing. We think around 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Changing our self-talk has an impact on our mood and physiology. Everything we see began as a thought in someone's head. Therefore, negative thoughts produces negative results. We cannot have feeling without thought, correct or not? There's no thoughts means no feelings. Changing the way we think changes the way we feel, which changes our behavior. So all the thoughts create feelings, and that feelings can be positive and also negative. However, you change the thoughts, the feelings will be changed. We are a product of what we think. We must remember it is better to change our thought rather than changing others. This is again another example of being proactive. We change our thoughts. We want to be happy. I want to be happy. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be upset. Upset, anger, hurt, all these sadness, guilt, poison in my brain. So I want to program myself. My mind is a clean house. I don't want to put all these negative things in my house. We can watch our thinking, therefore we have the power to control our mind instead of letting it control us. This is the good news. How we think determines how we respond to what life throws at us. A cancer patient, I've met people with cancer, I've met people with acute illness and all that. They will break down very initially for 3-4 days. After that, when we provide us stress-free relaxation guided meditation technique, they will know they are very calm. They will tell me, you know what? First they say, Dr. Ari, I have cancer. But after the therapy session, you know what they say? Dr. Ari, my body is suffering from cancer, not my mind. Wonderful, isn't it? What they say? Dr. Ari, my body is suffering from cancer, but not my mind. I am peaceful. I feel the pain. I go to the chemotherapy. I feel the body is getting heated up, but I am not suffering. Only my body is suffering. That is what we call powerful awareness of our emotions. That means we take the blame ourselves, we correct ourselves. Our brain has its own built-in pharmacy. Our thinking generates emotions that generate chemicals. Some help, some don't. So the stress, the anger, the hurt, the guilt, all releases negative chemical in our body. Indirectly, I want to tell you guys, we are heading towards self-sabotage our body. We are not healthy. Sometimes we hear some people are going for sports, going for these activities, but they have a lot of other medical issues. Why? Because they produce a lot of bad chemicals. through the thoughts. This is law of nature, my friends. The more you get negative thoughts in your mind every day, the more you will go sick. Take my word for that. This is not my advice. This is researchers confirm that. They wrongly assume that thinking happens automatically, cannot be controlled. No, thinking can be controlled. Our thoughts and the translation of them into how you feel occurs in a matter of seconds. So we are almost oblivious, blind to them. It's very fast. Flick the switch. We cannot have unhappiness unless we are pessimistic thinker. Only those who are pessimistic thinker will have unhappiness. Equally, we cannot have happiness unless we are optimistic thinker. Only the optimistic thinker will have the happiness. Doesn't matter how much property we have, doesn't matter how much position we have. I've been to Bangladesh, I've been to third world countries. I see children playing in the mud, in the rain, and they're so happy, happier than the one who stays in a bungalow controlled by many maids. Why? Because optimistic thinking. The mud is so good. The rain is so cooling. The nature is so beautiful. They're very positive. They don't have fear. And they will not fall sick. Our thoughts do not have the power to hurt us unless we keep the power, guys. Most of the time, the negative thoughts is the one is giving you the power to hurt yourself. We tend to suffer from mistaken belief that thoughts are actually real. Frankly speaking, we suffer from mind reading, complex equivalence, cause and effect, uncontrolled negative thoughts. I'll give you examples later. These are the powerful 4 devils. So just to brief you, what is mind reading? Let's say I go for a meeting. I always go with a person called Surya for lunch. Today we had a meeting and Surya and myself, I proposed a plan A and Surya proposed plan B. But the boss prefers Surya's proposal plan B. After the meeting, I go to the Surya and said, hey, come go for lunch. Surya said, please, today you go by yourself, I'm busy. When Surya say like that, what happens? Sometimes our mind reading, oh, Surya, is very egoistic. Surya don't want to be my friend. Surya doesn't like me at all because I propose A. So many devils will coming into my thoughts, and that is called mind reading. But actually, we will never accept Surya is actually busy. Do you understand? That is what we call devils. So many mind reading. We mind read students, we mind read children, we mind read workers, and we assume whatever we read about them is true. Frankly speaking, none of it is true. Complex equivalence. We relate something bad happened to us, we relate to the boss, we relate to the company, we relate to the spirits, we relate to the God, and we never take the blame. That's what happens. Education, for instance. Education is different from qualification. What is qualification? Qualification is SPM, SCPM, degree, and so forth. But what is education? Education is lesson learned from the life. So educated people are not necessarily highly qualified. Educated people are able to respond to the environment very well. Okay, and then let me go into the more attention we give to our negative mini movies in the head, the more scenes we enact and the worse we feel. We need to alter the inner movie by adding some characters. If something bad happened last week, if that movie is going on in your brain very disturbingly, you're getting very emotional, add some characters. Put some cartoon characters inside. Put some hero, put some Ultraman inside, and you feel your emotions go down. You'll be laughing at it. This is a therapy. Change the sound noise of the inner voice. If something is telling you, my boss is wrong, my company is wrong, my boss is wrong, my company is wrong, change the inner voice. Put a cartoon voice like Donald Duck there. hey, my boss is wrong. That company is wrong. So you change the voice, you feel less emotion. Will help you to manage your emotions. We will take it up. You can WhatsApp me because I've given you my number. Personally, I will coach you beyond this class. Okay? Fast forward and fast rewind method. When the image is playing in your brain, it's so vivid and it's causing you to get emotional. Run it very fast or rewind it very fast. Run it few times, 5 times very fast. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. You feel like no emotions. Please pay attention. This is a therapy. We tend to suffer from mistaken belief that environment is cruel and we do not have much hope to progress. All are mistakes. We may not have control over the content of thoughts, but we have control to unplug over the feelings. Apply 6:30 p.m. rules. If anything during the daytime you feel negative, my friends, what you do? You tell the thought to come and meet you at 6:30 or 7 p.m. And when sit down in a sofa, invite one of the negative thoughts to come at 10 a.m. Okay, come and complain to me what happens, why you were getting angry. Let the anger complain to you. Let's say you get upset with some disappointment with your worker, 12:30, 6:30 or 7 p.m. sit down and call the disappointment and try to complain. So you call all these negative thoughts, complain to you. You know what happens? You become a master. Please don't take this lightly. Very powerful tips. And you WhatsApp me, I'll coach you further on this. No need any money, no need consultation, just free. Okay? Everyone knows the basic story of a golden goose. A man finds a goose who lays golden eggs. Each day the goose lays an egg made of solid gold. The man immediately realizes his fortune, but over time he becomes greedy. One day he kills the goose to get all the eggs, only to find nothing. What is the moral of the story? Who are the golden goose? Friends are golden goose. Family members are golden goose. Subordinates are golden goose. Bosses are golden goose. Do not be greedy. Do not ask for favor. Possible, do the favor and take care of the golden goose, and your happiness is assured. Do not go out of the balance. Bosses are important. Companies are important. Colleagues are important. Subordinates are important. Family members are important. What happens is that many of us come to me, many individuals come to me, they say family is different, sir, work is different. You know what they're telling me? They are very special. They were very close to the family members. Work, no. This is what we call self-sabotage. What is self-sabotage? You are depriving happiness compared to another person. Sir, my family is my family. My workplace is also my family, sir. That guy is very happy because he changed his thoughts. Simply, sometimes unconditionally, unrealizingly, we allow the devil to sneak into our brain and tell the wrong thing, advise the wrong thing, and we will follow it. Please don't do that. Family are everyone. 100% my family members, 100% my friends are my family, and workers are my family, my bosses are my family, my company is my family. When you have this, I tell you, you are best worker on earth because you are not controlled by the environment. You control the environment. Environment will come to you. A simple secret. Negative self-talk affects. Okay, here an example. I don't think I can trust him. He's talking behind my back. He's mixing with my enemies, therefore he must be one of them. I don't think I can allow him to be better than me. I should torture him because he always speaks. He knows everything. Okay. Positive talk. He needs time to learn. I need to change my style so that he listens. I have to get some evidence before taking any actions. I cannot be biased towards him because of one silly mistake. Let him mix with my enemies. It doesn't mean he is like that too. I'm emotional, therefore should not let my emotions to flare up and make irrational decisions. This is positive thought. Okay, this is the solutions, my friends. Step 1, you must first determine when you are engaging in self-talk. You can do this many ways, but here are some few methods to help you to manage your self-talk. Okay, pay attention. How to manage the self-talk is that you must have a notebook with you, and whenever there is a negative thoughts comes in, you just keep on writing. How to write? Don't use the word "I am getting angry" or my boss is making me angry. No, you must write. If my name is Ari, I write. Ari is having a negative thought that he feels that he is not committed to work. Ari is telling himself, don't be responsible. Ari is telling himself, don't be accountable. Ari is telling himself, make mistakes. Write it down. First day, you may list about 10 to 12. The second day, you may list about 7 or 8. Third day, you will list only about 3 to 4. And then the fourth day, you will not have any negative. Within 5 days, you will remove all your negative thoughts. But you have to write it down. Use the word Ari. When you say write it down, use the word Ari, that means you are not Ari actually. You are detached from your body, your conscious mind, your unconscious mind writing down. That's third person. So a third person is writing down, you don't feel anything bad. Once we determine what our self-talk is saying, we need to adjust the belief behind the statement. We cannot believe our new positive statement if we have not changed the underlying belief. That means do not succumb to the word like unfairness, environment is cruel, everybody is bad, that person is cruel. Don't that. Just adjust. After you know what you are saying and why you are saying that, you can begin to reshape the way you talk to yourself. So be aware, be critical, spend time, listen to your own voice, and make adjustments inside yourself. Begin with one of the statements and alter it positive statement. I'm angry person. May become I'm good leader that never allow anger to dictate. See, you switch the thoughts. Okay, the final part of it, thinking mistakes, mind reading, drawing a conclusion in the absence of sufficient evidence. Example, you are involved in a conversation with an acquaintance. The acquaintance cuts short the conversation and rushes off. And you think what? I must be so boring. This is called mind reading. He has no time for me. This is also negative thoughts. And like that, you can list down so many things. All that is a very powerful mind reading. You are trying to mind read the person is rushing off, and many things you write down. He has no time for me. He's not my friend. He hates me. He is unfair with me. Other people call, he will listen, but because I'm talking, he don't want to spend time. You see, all this is what we call devil, devilish thoughts. A simple example. Another one. Yes, but thinking. Focusing on one aspect of situation while ignoring more important and more relevant features. Example, a friend tells you that you look nice in your new outfit, and you say to yourself, she's just saying that to be nice. She doesn't really mean it. This is called mind reading as well. She must be seeking a favor from me. That's why she's trying to be nice. Interesting, isn't it? We don't have to think about suspicious for everything. Just accept it. It's their problem whether they have the issues or not. If they have something hidden agenda, it's their problem. In my perspective, that particular spur moment is a nice word. Thank you very much. I feel good about it. Overgeneralization, applying a conclusion to a wide range of events or situations when it is based on isolated incidents. You find out that a colleague doesn't like you, so you conclude that nobody likes you. It's generalization. Even everyone is so weird in this organization because of one person. You're making generalization. Magnification and minimization of black and white thinking. Enlarging or reducing the importance of events. Minimization is similar to discounting positive, insisting that positive experience don't count. I'll give you an example. Example, a student who minimize the values of the study towards the future and start avoiding revisions. Students don't feel the importance of the future. That means minimize already. The future career, the job, the family is minimized. Because of that, they don't have motivation to study now. That's called minimization. A worker can do that at work as well. Example 2, a father who never have taken his 3 kids to watch cartoon in theater. He magnifies his feelings of boring and minimize the feelings of disappointment of his kids. Now you understand? Also can cause negative relationship. Other people, children want cartoon. For them, it's so big deal. But father, I don't like to watch because I'm adult. I'm 40 years old. I'm 35 years old. So you don't take them. So because of that, you are depriving the children's right. And this is another wrong thinking pattern. Example, you feel worried about giving a report in front of your colleagues and say to yourself, this is called complex equivalence. Huh? Say to yourself, I feel so nervous. Everyone will see how nervous I am and something awful will happen. So before you report, you feel so nervous. This is complex equivalence. Report got nothing to do with your nervousness. You miss appointment with the doctor, instead of thinking, you say to yourself. This is called labeling. Huh? Labeling, you attach negative labels to yourself and call yourself or other names. I made a mistake. I'm so untrustworthy. I'm stupid because you're late. I'm just a human. My boss likes to pick on me as though he doesn't have other work to do. All this is a negative thoughts. Our past genes, the way others have treated us, these influences, but don't determine us. Between stimulus and response, there is a space between we choose our response. In our choice lie growth in our happiness. You see, the stimuli, the external environment, and we always immediately respond how we are, and we never spend time in making choices. Okay, guys. So with that, we end the session today. So now let's look at your questions again. To be positive, how to deal with the superior instilled fears at workplace. Good. I'll come back to that's a very good question. And then to be positive, ask a powerful question. What could this be a good about this? Thanks, I guess that is a more of being self-conscious. Yes, correct. Being correct is more being self-conscious. How to change our thoughts. I've given you the tips just now. Alter the movie, put different characters inside that. I give you an example, my friends, Grace, I want to give you an answer for that. Okay, how to change our thoughts. If you visualize past, something bad, and then the bad thought will generate bad feelings, and the bad feelings will generate bad behavior. And that bad behavior can be affecting others or can be affecting us. What you do is that when that image comes into your screen, what you do is that you add Ultraman inside, you add Donald Duck inside, you add Transformer inside the screen, and they are doing some funny stuff while you're watching the serious event that hurts you, and you start laughing. When you start laughing, what happens? Your emotion is changed. This is what we call psychologists. You alter the modalities, the images in your brain, the sounds in your brain, and that's the answer for you, Grace. Okay, that's a good question. Correct. Change the thought with NLP technique, changing the context and reframing. Wonderful. That's true. That is very true. Stanley is very true. And that is why I'm providing the services to help others on that perspective. Okay. and how to deal with the superior instill fears at work. Okay, this is a very good question. Fear happens to us, right? Who decide to be fearful? Ourselves, myself. The fear will not be fear if I don't have a fear. Correct or not? I want to give you one very unique example, guys, and this truly happened. My house is located near the paddy field. You know, Sawa paddy field? Open the door in front of paddy field. There's one time one black cobra, I think it's about 2 feet, crawl into my garden, and then my wife alerted me. There's a cobra there. Then you know what? I have this special gadget to catch the cobra's head. So I took that and I go near. And I go near the cobra, want to hold his neck. I'm not using hand, I'm not expert. The cobra spread his hood. You know what I told my children and my wife? Be surprised, you know. Wow, so beautiful. Cobra is so beautiful. So beautiful. And then I told myself, thoughts, my apologies. You came to your house. I'm just building a place in your land. Let me help you to usher you to your bigger space, because you may accidentally hurt somebody here who don't mean to hurt you. My apologies, my friends. I hold the neck, I hold his tail, and gradually take to the paddy field and throw it off, and saw him gliding into the field so happy. That is my choice. And there is no fear. What do I have? Love. What do I have? Compassion. What do I have? I love the mother nature. I will never say the cobra is wrong to come into my house. He'd never go for university to study. This is the territory, this is a document. It just sneak into my house. An easy way is what? Kill it. I got no right to kill the product of the mother nature. So I just leave it to the paddy field. That is the answer, my friends. How you see. If somebody feels terrorizing you, anger with you and all that, maybe your emotional bank account is not good. Your discipline may not be good. And you cannot change everything within one day. For over the 1 year, your discipline problems, you have some areas of misfortune in the workplace, your boss picked on you, he loses the trust, of course. You need to work around. If 1 year he have this bad opinion, you have to work 6 months for you to reframe his mind. No quick fix, guys. No quick fix. But you can do that. Please WhatsApp me personal questions. I will spend time to explain to you. Okay? So is there anybody else want to say anything? Thanks, Stanley. Thanks for your feedback. Anybody else? Rofes, you have anything? No, what? Okay, good. So with that, we will catch up with you on the WhatsApp. So thank you very much, my friends. Thank you so much. I feel so blessed to see all of you and listening to this attentively. And another good news is that I'm going to share this recording to you so that you can play it again. There's some things I run very fast. You can listen back. Is it okay? I'll share with the Janet, and Shannon, I think, will share with you all. Or I can put in a download in the WhatsApp and you can download it as well. Okay, guys. So have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank